Scholars, Miss Janes here, and I'm going to help you with your first grade skills lessons. Today we're on Skills Unit 4, Lesson 20. Our objectives are to identify sound spellings for r, and or, read and match some two-syllable words with those sounds, and we're going to plan a descriptive paragraph using facts. Let's get started with those sounds. The first sound in red is R. Say the sound R. The second sound in orange is the sound Say the sound And the third sound in blue is or. Say the sound or. All of these sounds are very similar, so you'll have to get your ears ready to listen because I'm going to say some words and I want you to tell me which sound you hear in the middle of that word. Are you ready for your first word? After you hear the word, I want you to shout out the sound that you hear. R, or. The first word is part. Art. Part. If you said R, you got it. The next word is port. Port. If you said or, you got it. The next word is fern. Earn. If you said 3 in a row, great job. Number 4 is farm. If you said R, great work. Number 5 is form. If you said or, good job. We're halfway through. 5 more to go. Vern. If you said good listening. Torn. If you said or, you've got some great ears. Thorn. Or again, good job. 2 left. Next word is harm. If you said R, great work. Last one, listen up. Sort. Or. Good job. How many did you get right? That's fantastic. I know you guys have been working so hard, but we've got a worksheet to do next. Take out page 20.2. And that practice for that sounds is going to come in handy now. Make sure you write your name and today's date on the top. Here's what the page looks like. Now there's 4 words in the box on the top. And there are 4 pictures below. All of the words in the box are 2-syllable words. When we read 2-syllable words, we want to read them in chunks. That dot separates the chunks that we want to read. So we'll read the first chunk, then the second chunk, and then we'll put it together. It's kind of like a math problem. Beginning plus end equals the word. Let's read the first word. Sound out the beginning with me. G-R, gar. Now let's read the second chunk. L-I-K, lick. Now let's put it together. Garlic, garlic. Which one of these pictures shows garlic? This one right here. So you're going to write the word garlic on that line. Don't write it with the dot in the middle. That's just to show you the two parts. When you write it, just write the letters. I'll do one more with you. The next word, cool, cool. Now let's read the second chunk. Now let's put it together. Cooler, cooler. Do you see a picture of a cooler? Yeah, right there. That's a picture of a cooler. Again, write that word on the line below the picture without the dot. You don't need the dot. That's just to tell you how to separate the two syllables. Once you're finished with these four, there's one more page for you to do. Use the same strategy to read the words up top and match them to the pictures. Make sure that you're looking at the word when you write it on the line, so you don't miss any letters, and you don't need to write the dot. If you want to do this now, you can pause the video and come back to me when you're done, or you can set this aside and finish it at the end. Let's go back to the lesson. The next thing we've got planned for today is to plan a writing. We haven't done writing a paragraph yet, and I'm really excited to start one. We're going to write a bigger paragraph later on, but let's start with something small so we can practice. This picture shows our 3 steps for writing. Number 1, plan. Number 2, draft. And number 3, edit. Good writers, even your favorite authors of your favorite books, use this process to write. So we want to practice now. You might want to be an author someday, right? Let's look at the first step, to plan. There's a picture of a little boy with a question mark. He's thinking. He's thinking about ideas for what to write. In this first step, when we're planning, we want to think about what we want to write and take some notes. Not complete sentences yet, just a few notes. Then we draft. That's when we pick up our pencil and start to put those notes into sentences, and we organize them in a way that makes sense. The last step is to edit. That's when we fix any mistakes that we made or change anything that needs to make more sense. Let's start this process with something we're familiar with. Grapes. Let's do the planning stage of how to tell about grapes. We've used our 5 senses to describe things before. Let's do the same thing now. Here's a chart that I've already filled out, but maybe you can think of some other things. When I use my eyes to look at these grapes, I can see that they're round. And I can see that they're green. But grapes can be another color, can't they? Sometimes they're purple or like a purplish red color. You could add that too. What about sounds? What do you hear maybe when you chomp into a grape? Here on my chart, I've got popping sound because sometimes when you bite, you might hear a little pop through the skin of that grape. Can you think of anything else? What about the taste of a grape? What do you think a grape tastes like? Sweet or tart is what I have here on my list, but you might have some other really good words to use. Not everybody's planning looks the same because some people have different words to use. But remember, these are all facts, so they have to be true. We can't say that a grape squeaks because a grape doesn't squeak. We have to make sure we use our observations and only write facts. The last sense we have here is touch. How do you think a grape feels when you touch it? On my chart, I have smooth and soft. You might be able to think of some other things about grapes and how they feel when you touch them. When you squeeze, it's a little squishy. You could say that. The last sense is smell, and we cross that out because that's kind of a hard one. There's not really any distinct smell from grapes that makes them different. Sometimes there's a sense we can't use, like when we were talking about the critters last week. We didn't use the taste sense because we're not going to taste a snake. We're not going to taste one of those critters. Let's look at the top of my chart. Here I have a word. This is the title of my chart, and my title is grapes because that's what I'm writing about. Always make sure that you have a title. The next thing I'm going to leave you with is grapes. I want you to think about grapes. If you have some at home, you can go and use your 5 senses, or at least 4 of your 5 senses, to come up with other words about grapes. Take your own notes if you can think of anything new, because next time we're going to start writing our paragraph. And if you've got other great ideas, you can add them into your own to make it different or unique. That's all I've got for today. You guys have been working so hard. Fantastic job. I'll see you tomorrow.